Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 1.5 and Colossus of the South live stream. I'm Pelly, I am the community manager for Victoria 3, and joining me today is our lovely content designer, Mike, who also likes trains.
That is one of several things I do like, yes.
What else do you like, Mike?
Trains. Wait, no, I already said that. Damn.
Mike, we had a script.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Uh,
So, where are we going to start, Mike?
well, there's this country in South America. Don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Brazil.
I don't believe I've heard of it, unfortunately.
Very obscure place. Few people ever mention it. But Brazil, I'm going to press start.
Yeah, okay.
Brazil is this country in South America. It's got a long history to it. A couple decades before the start of our game, it was a colony of Portugal. Then there was a French guy who showed up, and the Portuguese court got very alarmed, went to the colony, stayed there for a bit. They quite liked it. Then the French guy went away. They went back to Portugal, but the people in the colonies were like, what are you doing?
Sup, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, so Brazil gained independence, and this is the second monarch of Brazil now that we have in charge.
It is.
This
Known by the fact that I believe they're Pedro II.
Yes.
Rather than Pedro I.
Yes.
Which is an indicator that there might be the second person.
Yes, or at least the second Peter.
No, that's true.
Yes. He's here. He is a very politically adept child. He is a child, yes. There may be some issues with this. And he has a couple other things going on. You may note also already, just as we begin, there's this country up here called Grau-Pará, and then down here is the Rio Grandense Republic. There's these little fiery lines between them and Brazil.
We can have a little zoom in on one of them.
We can zoom in on one of them. What's going on down here? Oh, look at the little guys. Look at the little guy. We don't need to see that guy anymore. Look at these guys. They're fighting. Why are they fighting? Are we in a war?
I think we might be in a conflict, Mike.
Oh, no.
What's our aim here, Mike? Are we going to be peaceful and benevolent and let them secede from us?
Why would we do that? Ugh. No, obviously we got to crush them.
Yeah.
But before we go into that, well, actually, we might as well start with that. We have some wars going on, it turns out. I've just clicked on our journal entries here. And this journal entry tells us, we are in a war.
Oh, gosh, damn.
Gosh, shucky darn.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can tackle all this. We will have to make sure that these two countries that we just looked at do not exist anymore, because they are just a bunch of peasants, ragamuffins, and God knows what else. So definitely we'll have to take care of that. What else do we have going on? Slavery.
Yeah. There seems we have something about the matter of slavery in this case, which I believe it's an interesting position in time here, where slavery was kind of not allowed, but also kind of like, hey.
Yeah. So Brazil had slavery.
Yep.
This was an issue for some people. For other people, it was great. Don't really care about those people, frankly, but we will try to deal with this as we can. There's a whole issue here. Firstly, it's not just an internal thing. Britain, turns out, also has an opinion on slavery and the slave trade. So if we don't do anything, Britain's going to be very upset with us. If we do something, maybe Britain won't be as upset with us. That's also very nice.
Especially as Britain is actually surprisingly not that far away.
Oh yeah, they got this whole thing right here, which if we do, and God willing we will, beat up Grau-Pará, we will in fact border Britain, which is, oh boy.
Oh boy, oh golly gosh.
Good luck. So we will have to try to deal with this whole slavery thing, possibly try to ban slavery, or we could possibly not do any of that and then have more slavery. And people won't like us, but, well, we'll have more slaves. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes.
We have more stuff here about our dear boy Petey. Right now, we have this journal entry. Right now, it's at this middle point. We're trying to balance it back and forth. We have, you know what? I should actually just read the text that we got. We have Emperor Pedro de Bragança, the second ruler of the Empire of Brazil, who has been thrust into his role at an early age following the abdication of his father. Pedro II aspires to maintaining democratic rule and protecting the civil liberties afforded by the Constitution, as well as finally ending the institution of slavery which mars Brazil, despite the strength of the conservative forces arrayed against his liberal cause. Because historically, Pedro did grow up to be quite the relatively liberal figure, being a monarch still. But yeah. There are different ways to go about this. We can definitely try to help prop up Pedro and deal with all that. Or perhaps we can erode his support and a republic could be declared. But it's a republic of people who really do not like what Pedro's doing. So that could be spicy in its own way. Lastly, of these journal entries that are pinned up here, we have integrating the Brazilian nation. So again, Brazil was just a colony a few short decades earlier. When it comes to the idea of a national identity, that was something being worked on. Brazil had, firstly, these two ongoing revolts. Historically, there were a couple others scattered all the way up through the 1840s, I think. Someone on chat will call me out on this.
Yep. Please call out Mike on that.
I love to be called out.
Yep.
And Brazil had this whole very colonial structure to it still, which meant that nobody was... Okay, the people in Rio probably thought of themselves as Brazilians, but like the people up in Pernambuco probably had a different idea of what was going on, also compared to the people in Bahia, not to mention, of course, the Rio Grande Republic and Grau-Pará and all that. So there's this thing where we have to really try to tie everybody together into a cohesive Brazilian nation.
Yeah, and culture as well, which if you click on the culture button, that either one of them works.
I click on whatever buttons
Not only like, you can see that there's quite a different makeup of cultures around here, which you're obviously trying to pull into one cohesive whole.
We do have a core of Brazilian peoples and Afro-Brazilian peoples. To the south, we have the Paulistas, based around Sao Paulo. And further south, we have the Sulistas, which just means Southerners, because they're in the south. To the north, there's not actually that many of them. There's more Afro-Brazilians. There are the Nordestinos, which means Northeasterners, because they're in the Northeast. And then also over here, we have Amazonic people, the settlers in the Amazon region, different from the Amazonians, but I looked up different names, and Amazonic seemed to be the one that keeps showing up, or Amazonico. So we have these different sort of identities all vying with each other, and hopefully we can bring everybody into the Brazilian fold.
But then, obviously, this is just some more of the Colossus of the South area, and although cultures and that not necessarily are, they're part of the 1.5. In 1.5, you've also done a few other things that may have been shown in one of our very large diaries, such as things like, I don't know, maybe like local goods, maybe all of the like nice little men that we saw down that front there. Which we will probably be showing off soon, seeing as we have to secure Brazil.
We do have to beat them up, yes.
We secure Brazil. We don't say beat them up.
Right. We are going to secure the peaceful foundations of our country.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, you were called out. It was after 1840, so you're incorrect.
Oh no. My credibility is ruined. We do also have some other changes here as well, worth pointing out.
Yes.
We can already see right here, Bolivia and Peru have a slightly different setup. Peru is not really a single cohesive nation in 1836. There is separate republics in North and South Peru. I almost said Brazil.
Yeah, I almost said the wrong country then.
Oh, that would have been
your
bad.
credibility would have been dropping even lower then.
Shameful. We have Iquicha, another component of the whole Peruvian setup. They're all still subject to Bolivia. They still have the whole thing of Peru-Bolivia going on. I'm about to cough. Excuse me.
Bless you.
And yeah, that's still a slightly different rejiggering of our existing Peru-Bolivia content going on there. All these countries also have different ambitions as well now. There's this guy a couple of decades earlier.
Oh, tell me about this guy.
His name was, I think, Simon. Simon.
It's got a weird second name. What was
Simon
it?
Boulevard or something like
Yeah.
that. Simon Bolivar.
Yeah.
And he had an ambition for South American independence and for unity of South America. If you look at this map, South America is not unified, although it is independent mostly. So, one thing that all these countries have is a goal to revive Bolivar's dream and unite the nations of South America. We'll see if they actually pull that off.
Yeah. One of my favorite playthroughs previously was actually playing as New Granada, forming a pseudo thing like that through Grande Colombia. So that's quite a fun thing to do. Though it is very different now, seeing as Peru, Bolivia is very different setup, and Brazil is, I would consider, much more difficult to deal with now. Though at the beginning, a lot more fractured.
Yes, and hopefully we'll be able to weave Brazil together here pretty well. I helped work on this, of course, but military, I will have to ask for your help. Military affairs are not my forte.
Yeah. You did a lot of the narrative. Something actually I think also you did was references for art and things like that.
Oh, yes, so much of the art references, the clothing, a lot of the
We can show
research
some
and
of the
details.
clothing, that'd
Oh,
be quite
clothing,
nice.
clothing.
Yes,
That was
clothing.
a very subtle.
Yes, very subtle hint.
Yeah. Well, we could start off with our wonderful. Oh, that guy's all sorts of beat up. Our soldiers and officers.
Officers are there.
There's our officers. Have their own nice little Brazilian uniforms, which are largely influenced by French and American designs.
Which was pretty much what happened quite a lot around that era.
We have some reworked hats, different colors, a bit more ability to use color palettes with some of our existing assets, which is also very fun. And we even have these wonderful little gaucho clothes that we've also already reused for Brazilian soldiers.
Yeah.
Wee.
But I don't think that's all, actually. If we zoom in down on one of the front lines,
Yes.
without a delightful cultural people,
Yeah.
I also believe that, bless you, during developing actually some of the models, was some questions about what sort of weapons and things like that. So like, we gave references and things like that. I believe.
Yes. Yeah, no. So like artillery changes at every level of tech at this point. Our soldiers change appearance over levels of development as well. At this point, they're just line infantry and they're vibing. We have our little generals and cavalrymen all talking and yelling at each other. The barricades and different little encampments and stuff change as technology progresses. It's fun. Whoop.
Yep. But yes, obviously, we've got quite a few things to do as Brazil. What shall we focus on first? Obviously, we've got the slightly pressing issue of, hey, there's a couple of
Revolts and such going on.
misunderstandings.
Yeah. Well, okay, I'm going to do a sort of choice of, we should probably focus on some military tech to begin with.
Yeah, Napoleonic War, I would suggest for...
I heard of this Napoleon fella. I heard he won a few battles.
Seems okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah. So we have that going on. A little bit of military tech there. Markets. We should build some things maybe. What I usually do, because I'm not, again, the most pro-level player, is I'll go into the market stuff, sort by price, look at what's most expensive and that there's a lot of, and then go, maybe I should build some of that.
However, we've also got local prices for states now, which kind of changes that sort of thing. So, I don't know, let's click on our capital, which I believe is over here.
Brazil? Yes.
Yeah, Rio de Janeiro.
We got our local prices.
Got different prices compared to the market price.
The boats, very expensive.
Many boats.
Bells, also very expensive.
Yeah.
Wood. Yep. Wood, meat. We got other things that we can drive the price down on.
Yeah. Because obviously we've got the difference between local price and market price. Market price is your whole market. So this can also be, say, for example, if you had vassals, that'd also include them as well. It's like, this is just the general market price compared to that. But then you have your state actual price, and that can be very different because sometimes you might have, I don't know, a naval base which needs some ships, which It seems that we don't have that.
Should I build some boats then?
We could build some boats.
What if I build some boats?
Yeah.
I'm going to build some boats the old-fashioned way. Naval boats.
It would be up the top,
They've all moved around.
and then it would be military shipyard because we need men of war, which is also.
What if I
something
build
different.
2?
I think you're getting very extravagant there, Mike.
Just one.
Yeah.
Just one little boat.
Just one boat.
Just one boat.
Just one boat.
All right. Just one boat. Should I build anything else?
I don't know, Mike. I think you should know.
Why are you calling me out like that? Fine. What we're going to do, we're going to build some wood.
Yeah. Which is quite a nice number, I believe.
People need their wood. There's all sorts of construction going on. It always seems very useful.
Yep.
Except for here, they're actually pretty good. So forget about them.
Yep.
What about you? Yes, Rio also needs wood. It's almost as if the capital is always building things.
Yeah.
Yep. Plenty.
I can see someone asking, is that local prices tab new? Yes, it is. A lot of these changes were added in the open beta, but we had quite a few UX and UI
we
updates and
iterated.
changes. A lot of iterations coming in through this, which has made it look a little bit nicer, which I believe you've also done some things like that for the military formations as well.
Yeah.
A lot of these we actually showed off in our 1.5 update video yesterday on the 13th.
And
Got some gold mines, that's quite useful.
yeah, but
obviously
they're already.
inflation, etc.
It's fine, probably.
We hope.
A little bit of sugar.
It'll be fine.
Brazilian reliance on plantation economy. That's fine. All right, let's
Bless you.
cough a little bit, and then let's have a war or
Have a
two.
war. Well, why don't we look at our actual formation over there?
All right. So we have our nice little army of the south.
This is in Dorsal.
Yes.
I think that was somewhere in the region of vaguely correct, but please excuse my poor pronunciation. Let's see. Let's just go through what we've got first. So we've got 15 units within our army here, which is given by our actual command limit, which is given by our generals. Each general normally gives around 30. However, you can upgrade that, and there's actually quite a... It's interesting now because you can have up to 4 generals in a formation itself, and then that actually can affect other things along the battle, such as multiple battles along a battlefield. Having more generals can be sometimes quite useful because that can give you certain helpful things. I don't know, such as our delightful general here, Pedro, has engineer and innovative, which might mean that they affect certain effects on the actual battle.
So if I recall my history and also setting up the game, our opponent here in the south is an Italian fella, Garibaldi.
There's Netto here. I believe Garibaldi may be coming around.
He may be popping up in an event then soon.
Yes.
In which case, we either try to strike while the iron's hot, or we just dig in here and focus on the north.
Well, that depends, because obviously we've got a quite a good difference in amount of troops here. So we've got 15 to their 9. So, but we've mostly got infantry and cavalry, and like infantry is quite good for defending, relatively. It's kind of like your bread and butter, essentially. Then artillery is actually very useful. It's very good offense, very good at actually destroying things, funnily.
We don't have any of that.
We don't have any artillery, unfortunately.
That's
It'd be
bad.
good if we had some of that. But we do have some lancers, which are, honestly, I love the artwork there. I really like it. And actually, on that note, before I go off on another tangent, I'll go off on this tangent first. I believe quite a few cultures have their own different looking artwork for these.
Yeah,
And
they do.
Some of them are really, really nice. I think my favorite is probably around India.
We set up a whole Miro board, and then like we were just spamming that with all sorts of references for the artists. We go, oh no, dude, if you're doing this, you totally got to make these guys in this case look like this. Here's an officer from the Ethiopian army. Here's a couple of different references for Bengali lancers. We really went into it.
Yeah. Then obviously, though, we haven't really said it here, but these have different stats. You could also have different types of units. So with cavalry, you've got different types of cavalry which have different effects. So like hussars feel like almost your, I'd say, basic cavalry. They're just there to do the job.
They got sword.
And they've got a sword.
They got sword.
Dragoons, they're quite good at occupying places.
Gun. They have gun.
They have a gun.
The power of gun.
Cuirassiers, they're also quite good at that, but also quite a lot more expensive to upkeep. And then lancers, very good at that, but again, upkeep.
They got stick.
But more offense, less defense. It depends on what sort of thing you're going for here. Obviously, this is our starting setup, and we are unlikely to want to change that at the moment because we are mobilized, and changing our types of troops may mean that they are slightly less organized doing it.
Telling people to like, no, change all your equipment right now. I know we're in the middle of a battle, but like,
hey,
we really wanted you to hold rifles instead of swords right now. You haven't had the training yet. Don't worry about it.
I changed my mind. You have a lance now.
Yeah, this is the thing that's better to change during peacetime than it is at war.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which again here, organization, which is slightly affected by your command limit, and then that means certain things can happen. So go over there. Yeah, so if we have low organization, it has quite a nasty penalty on your overall offense, defense, morale recovery, and recovery rate, which means that if you get into a battle, it's not going to be quite good for you. So I would not recommend it.
Keep your armies in good shape, you're saying?
Yeah, keep your armies in good shape, keep them well supplied, and make sure you don't change things constantly, because that doesn't seem like a good idea. However, you also have things, mobilization options. Again, I would recommend you do them before you're in a battle or actually mobilizing, but you can slightly do it in some way, but there will be a penalty. So these things all cost different amounts of upkeep, so and also give slight bits of benefits or other bits and pieces. So like basic things like supplies can mean like if you go for extra supplies, give you slightly reduced morale loss, but cost groceries, which means then you have to have the ability to actually produce groceries and maintain it. But then obviously you have things like, I don't know, transportation, which can be very useful to make sure you get them to the battlefield when you need to. And
morale loss, that's bad, right?
Well, it's a forced march, you want to get on there quickly. But also there's rail transport. Yes.
Trains? They get to ride trains?
They could get to ride trains. Yeah. However, I believe looking at the time, I think that the update should actually be out now. So if you have a look and restart Steam, it should be there.
And you can follow along as we wage a war and, peace action.
We'll move on.
Yeah.
Move on. So yeah, obviously lots of other bits and areas, but I think probably my favorite thing, I really enjoy this, is edit. You can change what your actual troops are named by. So they can just be by culture or by state. I like them by state because that just seems cool to me, and I like that. Alongside that, you can change all the patterns and flag colors, change the name, things like that. So they're going to be for the south, so they are going to be...
Purple.
That purple.
Yeah.
That purple. We'll go with that.
It's a good purple.
So they're there. So like that. Now, I've just noticed here that we have a lot of irregular infantry, which aren't great. Unfortunately, we are already at the front line, so it's probably not a good idea that we start upgrading them.
Let's not do that then.
I kind of want to click it anyway now, though, because my button's over it. So this button allows you to essentially just upgrade your infantry or whichever one you've picked from up here into the higher version. So in this case, it'd be line infantry, which is quite good. Well, relative to irregulars, which aren't in any way, as you can see just from the stats. Like
the numbers have like doubled between the two.
Yeah, that's
double numbers.
You don't really want irregulars. Honestly,
irregular just means militia.
Yeah.
It's the guys who like they're there. They go, we want to fight. You give them a gun and you go, good luck.
Yeah, and it's also, I think it also represents in like different areas, like ones that aren't really organized and things like that.
Yeah, your line infantry are your regular infantry are guys who have been trained. They're professional soldiers.
Yes.
Not every country has professional soldiers at game start. They're just like, yeah, we give a guy a gun, good enough. go do your thing.
Yes. So yeah, we've got that. There's also, you can set it up so you can get conscription. So if I could just click the button, I can then say, hey, I want to conscript from this area, which then means I will get this many conscription people. So when I raise conscripts, they will come up here. Yeah, that's how that works.
All right.
Easy peasy. I saw a question whilst I was looking aside that about how easy is it for our opponents in this discussion to actually win. Pretty hard, honestly. Pretty hard.
Doable.
It's doable, but it's hard. I have just about done it with the Rio Grande Republic, but you need to be very careful. You have first of all, you have quite a difference in troops. You also have a relative difference in ability to actually support that many troops. Brazil can put a larger amount down towards you, and then if they push all their armies towards you and just forget about the top, they'll just kill you instantly. However, if you're lucky and you actually manage to build up very quickly and pull up conscripts, you can hold and just slowly tick it out. It will be slow and you will lose a lot of people, but you can do it, but hard.
But you just said there's the issue of two fronts here. So how do we, as Brazil, handle this?
Well, we've got a few armies. So we have an option and ability to say, hey, we'll send one army down south, one army up north, or maybe the north one we'll just have them hold up there because they're roughly the same numbers. So we don't really want to push there and pull there at the moment. We'll just leave it.
Hold the line. All right.
We do also have another army, if I click on it properly, which does actually have some artillery, but it's better artillery than that for some reason.
Yep.
And we'll give it a commander, because at the moment it doesn't have a commander, so it has no command limit, and therefore has very low organisation, which is not good for us. We don't want that.
So we would like a general. Well,
Urbano, Ulysino, Ulis.
We have the whole issue of conservatives and that whole magnanimous monarch deal. Let's go for Urbano Labatut, because he's not a landowner.
Okay, we'll go with them then.
We're doing the political choice.
Also charismatic. So then we can start mobilizing them. Go bo-ba-do-ba-do, and then I think we should move them up to the top. And I think first they will have that. Here we go. So you can see there's some slightly different orders here. So you have the advanced one, you have the defend one. But then sometimes you can get some more special looking ones, which is depending upon what trait you have. And I believe this trait is unlocked due to defensive strategist, which then gives you a slightly different chance. So like for instance here, they've got 100% dug-in chance, which is a battle trait, which is really good for defending. So they are very much better at doing this, and you'd probably want them to use that most of the time. So we will then get them to go up here, over there. And I will relinquish control to you, Mike, because this is very awkward for me to actually zoom in and do.
That's fair. It's also, we're doing a fun thing here. I'm left-handed with computers, and Pelly here is right-handed, so we're just alternating back and forth. Same mouse. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So
what we could see here is actually them starting to move up north.
Dare I unpause?
You may unpause, so we can actually watch them go up.
I pushy the button.
If you zoom in, you should be able to start to see them when they reach a road, because they're just slowly moving on here.
Yeah.
They at the moment don't have any thing interesting, but then they will just go.
Oh, they're zooming along. Woo!
And now they go
Look at them go. Bless them.
And
That's
this
really
is
funny.
actually affected by what type of technology and things you have unlocked. If you have railroads, they'll just be going along on railway trains, which is really cool. I really enjoyed that.
And while we're preoccupied with all that, we have a wonderful little event about the Regency, just telling us the landowners, they got opinions. Armed forces, they got opinions. Oh boy, we got to deal with this stuff while the Emperor's a kid.
Ta-da!
Will they never cease their squabbling?
Probably not.
Oh boy.
And it gives us a big hit to legitimacy, which is not fun.
So, in the meanwhile, we sent those guys up there while we're still dealing with this battle.
Zoom in battle.
I'm zooming in. I'm looking at the battle. Look at that battle. Look at those guys. They're vibing. They're shooting at each other. They're having a grand old time. We got a bunch of generals back there. They're going, yeah, you should totally do that thing.
Keep charging.
Yeah, look at that guy. He's got a little sword. He's being very fancy. Respect this.
So, obviously, on
Looks
front
like we'll
lines, we
actually
have
win.
loads and loads of people all the way along. These are all affected by what troops are available, what cultures they are, and if you have allies, you'll actually see their troops appearing there as well. So
They
if
fell
got,
over dead.
they fell over and had a nap.
Oh, yes.
They had a nap. So you can actually see throughout the areas and what techs and different allies and that, who's there. And then obviously when you start a battle, you have a little diorama pop up, which shows this nice little thing. And that's, again, affected by what things are there. It looks really cool.
What do we care about Bolivia?
What is our aim with Bolivia?
I think our aim is crushing the rebels.
So we can kind of ignore them for the moment.
Yeah. We don't care.
We don't care for them at the moment.
Yeah.
That might become something else in later. Oh, look, we're having a battle down there.
That's
as well.
a battle.
Not over there. Up.
Up. Oh, yeah.
Up.
I'm
You're
looking
at the wrong place.
Oh, the other up.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Mike.
I know. Right there.
No, you got lost again, Mike.
I got lost again.
You got
mean
lost
that
again,
up?
Mike. You still lost, Mike.
Tell me which way to
It
go.
should have been south, Mike. It's probably over now,
You
Mike.
said up.
Yeah,
No, it's there.
'cause you zoomed up. There you go.
That's down. That's
Before
the opposite of
before
up.
we got very lost, and I'm blaming
Which
Mike
way is
entirely
up?
for this. Battles, when they actually take place, they now move along the state they're in. So you can have them pop up along further in as more and more is taken. And you also can see some nice flags popping up from where we're taking things. And you can see, if you zoom out a bit, you can actually see it there. We've taken over that much of the land.
We're doing good.
We're doing good there.
Eat.
Yeah.
Oh.
Another one.
Oh,
Hello.
another one.
Obviously, we've only got one general and one general here, and it's quite a small line. We won't really have multiple battles.
Yeah. We have that guy we saw before, Antonio de Sousa Neto. On our side, we got Pedro de Alcantara, Bellegarde. Bellegarde. I do not speak Portuguese. This may be a surprise to some.
I can't believe you.
I know.
Actually, if we keep staying on this, we can actually show off something else interesting as well.
Ooh, go
'Cause,
on.
I know for some point, here we go, if you pause. Whoa. You can see the battle traits change into pursuit and controlled retreat. If you hover over them, you'll see that now that the battle is a foregone conclusion, we've won this. Like, absolutely have definitely won this. So we're pursuing them. We're going to take them down. There's different battle traits we have for when a battle is actually fully over in numbers and effectively is over. So you can see we've got 11-1 battalions. However, when that does happen, they will start retreating. There's different types of retreat. There's like controlled retreat, because this is a general who actually knows kind of what they're doing. They're going to pull out as many troops as they can. So they're not actually going to lose many in numbers. They're just going to be demoralized. However, if you have one which is like panicked retreat, that's not good. You're going to lose quite a few people, and that's normally with inexperienced.
They'll get
generals.
shot and cut down. And
Yes.
A lot of people taking naps.
Yes, a lot of laps happening.
Yep.
So that means now we have battles be a little bit quicker and swifter in their conclusion. And I also know that we had attrition as something, and attrition has most definitely been fixed since the beta, because that was not intended at all, frankly. It's much nicer now, because you no longer have like 50% attrition, so it's actually pretty good.
Dare I unpause?
You may unpause.
Ooh.
You're permitted.
And we're about to do it. It's going to happen. We're making it happen. We
Yeah,
won.
we got-
Victory is ours yet again.
How can that be imagined?
We have
Oh,
slavery issues.
Serious slowdown in work has been recently plaguing the Rio de Janeiro coffee plantations. Its managers placing the blame on intentional sabotage committed by discontent slaves.
Some things are beyond human control. The sun's heat, the changing of the seasons, and how much a plant can yield in its life. What can be controlled, the soil's nutrition, and how much to harvest, are never scrutinized so heavily as a slave's work. And so, when the body inevitably fails, the driver reaches for a whip as the only answer.
So, what decision shall we make here?
I didn't actually mean to click that, but
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry.
I forgive you, Mike.
It's
don't
a
believe they-
sensitive
I can't
mouse.
believe-
It's
I
a sensitive mouse,
I
all
can't
right?
believe that, though. I don't think they will forgive you.
I'm sorry, chat.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Internet. But it looks like we have successfully occupied all of the South. This army probably is going back to the capital for now.
Which again, they will be traveling there. And traveling also means that when they move, they can go whoop over the sea
Surely
as
I
well.
should tell them to go over here, right?
Send them north.
I'm sending them north.
Send them up. Sorry.
Yeah. So I should go down here.
Oh.
All right. We're rocking up with these guys. Watch them. God.
I love that so much. And that changes to like trucks, I believe, as well.
Oh yeah, no, I helped with that. I think it's Liberty trucks
Yeah,
that
I
we
think
use.
so.
Yeah.
Zoom.
Now we're at the front.
And now we can select each formation and send our generals into combat.
All right.
Top left,
Yep.
next to the general's name.
And we say
Advance. En avant. Marche. That one's onwards.
That one's
that one's
already-
probably the best one because it's got cannons.
yeah. Go forward with the guns. Let's rock and roll.
So they're moving onwards. We've got there's a battle.
Yes, two.
Two battles. See,
spicy.
multiple battles. Whoa! And I believe, hopefully, one of them's got cannons involved. I can't see. My eyes have been betrayed. I don't see any.
I
Cannons.
do not espy a cannon in either
that,
of these.
That means that they haven't
Tragic.
pulled in any of those cannons. Then, it could be they attacked and we defended. So that means both those ones that went.
Oh, right.
Yes.
So we beat the Rio Grande Republic. We can either give them concessions or we could laugh at them. I'm going to offer concessions. Let's be gentle. We'll have to.
After the lashing.
Okay, fine. Let's be mean to them too.
Okay.
I'll be consistent and just cruel to everyone. As all right. Well, how about this? Cafe.
After a chance meeting in a cafe and a thoughtful conversation, Diego Antonio Fiego has recommended that
Fiego?
Giuseppe Manzini, currently residing in Brazil, be granted permanent residence. See, I think we know that guy.
I've heard that name before.
Yeah. That might be helpful for us
Hilarious. Let's go for it. Mazzini, you're Brazilian
because
now.
that's helping intelligentsia, which is something that I believe we quite need at the moment. Because we click on our government, our legitimacy is not good.
Yeah, that's spicy.
That's spicy.
Should we do something about
Should we
this
do
right
something? But if we become a presidential republic, that's not good for us. Like,
Well,
or is it? Swings and roundabouts.
I mean, we get rid of a monarchy,
there
but
we go.
also we
There's
may.
another battle.
Do we have cannon?
No cannon.
no
I
cannon.
think they're just running into us.
Sad.
Sadness.
Oh,
They're
running
nap.
into us and dying. Hilarious.
Having a nap.
You're right. Yeah, nap.
Having a
Sorry. Just a nap. Just a little nap.
Just a little nap. Yeah, that's cannon.
Well, you're right. There be cannons.
Boom.
Napoleons? 12-pounder Napoleons, I think, is what I ended
think
up
so.
using.
Yeah.
Shockingly, the American kept on referencing American stuff.
Yeah.
When
it's
giving
funny
things
that.
to art.
Yeah. I remember we came up with quite a few different ones.
Yeah.
So I think we went with, was it Brown Bess? Or was it Chassepot?
I know you proposed the Brown Bess, I
Yeah.
think. Whereas I was going, why not a Springfield musket?
And then I went like, you mean like the Brown Bess, which is like one of the most ever used?
I don't
muskets.
know. That sounds foreign to me.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah.
Oh, no, moving back. Yay.
Yeah. We've done it.
We have solved the issue.
Hmm?
Yeah.
So cool.
Sorry.
Military stuff.
Military stuff.
We did it.
Woo. Where's pause button?
I can do
It feels very weird doing it the wrong hand.
Oh, right.
Wrong side.
Because, yeah.
I was just going to quickly, because my mind was thinking about it, so it's going to be tangent time. We don't have much of an option to actually change anything at the moment. The only option we've got to change is via our delightful.
We could overthrow the monarchy
we
right
could
now.
throw the monarchy right now.
That would short circuit the whole magnanimous monarch thing. But I mean, you could do it.
It'd be funny.
It would be funny.
Something I was going to show off though is this the right one?
Colonization.
Yes, thank you. I was looking at the wrong tab. something that changed is, hey, frontier colonization. Now, if you're America, Japan, and there's a few others, I can't remember off the top of my head. At the start of the game, they start with this.
Russia?
I think so.
Yeah.
They start with this, and then they start. When they start colonizing, they're going to colonize things actually bordering them. Sorry,
Careful.
I may have punched the table or the mic.
I think it was the mic. Not me, though.
Yeah, I'd never do that. Which is quite useful. But I was just going on the laws page because there's actually some really interesting laws, I find. Here, like changes in land reform, for instance, can change how interest groups attract different populations. Such as, in the tooltip, you can see that petite bourgeoisie will attract middle strata population from rural buildings. So you can, what your laws change to can start affecting your interest groups a lot more subtly.
And our journal entries.
And journal entries also do this.
Well, look, if you keep on hovering over it,
yep.
Below where it says the pop attraction,
yep.
It actually affects the magnanimous monarch journal entry.
Yes.
Hot dog.
Hot dog. This is also in quite a few other ones as well. I think this is probably the most interesting one. So, for instance, say, we're in professional army at the moment. We want to actually have a good army that's really good at having actual professional units rather than conscription. However, if you went to like peasant levies, which would be really nice for landowners, not so good for us, it would then mean such things as like, hey, officers actually start coming much more from aristocrats. Armed forces start getting more aristocrats involved. More servicemen start going to armed forces. Less servicemen going to armed forces and things like that. It then becomes a very different style of how your political setup is. So you may need to pay much more attention to these little bits of information that tell you what starts changing. So let's see, look at mass conscription. This would be probably something that I know some people would like to use often. Armed forces now will start no longer attract, will attract fewer servicemen and attract more non-servicemen and officer pops into the armed forces. So that's a very big change because it's no longer just armed forces mostly being involved with it.
Everybody now has a say.
Yeah.
And has some
and
sort of
this
interest
happens in
this.
quite a few different laws as well. So it's interesting to see because it's not all laws, but it's ones that kind of affect attraction of pops into going somewhere else. So like this is a major change. This may change where people will be going. Oh, and I've gone over towards Africa. Hello. Let's see how soon are they to make peace?
Very soon.
Annex. Oh, we could do it now. Boom. Which is probably better than just waiting out. I relinquish control to you. There we go.
We did it. The crushing of the. Oh my God! I'm gonna see. Cabanagem.
We're sorry.
I'm very sorry. Despite the capitulation of the main Cabano government in Belém, countless rebels continue to resist our rule upstream. Hardened by years of brutal conflict, the Brazilian army has taken an especially harsh attitude towards the rebel bands, mainly comprised of free Afro-Brazilian and Amazonian fighters.
Men, I need not tell you what a great victory this is. The dreams of your beautiful wives and little sweets must wait. The rebel has escaped upstream, and he will fight until old age takes his fingers. Our new orders are thus. Should they hide behind trees, we will burn them down. Should they hide behind tall walls without toe holds, we will pile their dead and climb them. This is a very nasty thing to say to people.
Now, this is a very interesting little contrast, because the Southern Revolt, that was a bunch of landowners and ranchers and stuff, right? And we did have an option there. We could be gentle with them. Here, no. No,
Not
these
so
are
much.
just rabble. Rabble? So, unfortunately, we are going to just by default be a bit more mean to them. Maybe we should do something about this.
It's something we could take as a feedback post and have a look into. Because I think that it might be something to consider.
We might consider that.
Yeah.
All right.
So now, hey, we're now bordering Great Britain. We also still have slavery. That may not be good.
What should we do now then? Maybe not have slavery? What about the Brazilian nation? What do we need to do about this
nationalism, first, and then we start integrating them that way. Our infamy
Nationalism.
should be quite low, I believe. Someone asking. We don't really.
They were part of us
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. They're Brazilian. We're making them Brazilian. It's Brazil.
Brazil.
Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Honest.
Ah,
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. But actually, I'm just thinking because I can see Paraguay brightly shining directly in front of me.
oh yeah.
Paraguay's got some
This
interesting
guy.
things.
This is Jose Gaspar Rodriguez de Francia, Dr. Francia. He has ideas about how to run Paraguay. He has his own ideology. He is a despotic utopian, which is let's be cool with everything, except you don't have any say in government.
Yep.
Only Dr. Francia
As
does.
we can see from the flavor text, this character believes in a society influenced by principles of enlightenment, but where an autocratic government acts in the best interest of the people. So it's still an autocratic government. It's just I'm doing it for your own good, supposedly.
It is interesting how Paraguay operated under him and
Yeah,
afterwards. Like
definitely.
Paraguay, I think, has one of the largest Guarani-speaking populations in South
I
America.
believe it was because it was encouraged specifically, wasn't it?
Yeah, like it was this whole thing with Francia and following Paraguayan governments. So,
Yeah.
interesting element of the whole country's culture.
I believe you've also got some stuff for Paraguay specifically.
Yes. Hopefully, we don't have to encounter it that much as Brazil just
Yeah,
yet.
that would not be helpful for us.
No.
What we're referencing to is Paraguay starting to get interested in taking other people's land, and we don't particularly want that at the moment. That would not be helpful.
No. Actually, I didn't double check. What is their army size right now? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows what'll happen? So, we have some researching and stuff to do. We have an illegitimate government still. Should I just try to reorganize the government right
it's
now?
not going to be great if we do that because it's going to want to have landowners and armed forces in.
What about these liberal people? The church, extremely liberal. No?
We can try.
I-
Oh, that's not bad.
It's a
That's not
little
bad.
better.
It's
a little better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could do that. I'm going to do it.
Do it.
I'm doing it.
Doing it.
Cool.
Cool. We can potentially do more laws. We potentially can't do more laws.
Liberals.
Ah.
Okay, so we can't do much. We have two people who really want republics. They're both the intelligentsia.
Which is kind of good. It's helpful for us, but also not helpful for us because we kind of don't want to go to a presidential republic at the moment.
Yeah.
Because our delightful, magnanimous member. Yeah. Pedro doesn't want that.
Yeah. We could try to do some ban stuff, but also we could upset some people. What if we upset some people? I think
Who
that's
are
a
we
good idea.
upsetting?
The landowners.
Oh, that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, cool. We're doing it. That means we're going to try to stop this just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's probably good.
Yeah.
We have our Brazilian nation stuff.
Maybe
Now-
we should start researching towards nationalism.
Yes, but we're I'm gonna pause.
I hit my knee again.
Don't hit your knee. It's bad for you. We have a couple of things that we have to do here for the Brazilian nation stuff. Every option here has slightly different conditions. So, for example, the Sulistas, we just beat them up. We have to have ended the war in the south, and turmoil has to be super low. Now, I accidentally decided to just burn everything, so turmoil is going to be very high for a bit. It's going to be harder for me to reconcile the Southerners with the proper Brazilian order.
Yeah. I can see someone asking about how do you get these national heroes?
Aha! Took a bit of feedback, but I remember to actually put a thing here. So we have a whole event here where sometimes when you're fighting wars against people who aren't in Brazil, you'll win a battle and you'll go, my dude, this guy's great. He is a hero of where you're from. He's your hero and also Brazil's hero. You should celebrate him and be part of Brazil, huh? this was a major element with the War of the Triple Alliance. Spoilers for the whole Paraguay thing. Eventually, historically, Paraguay went nuts. Went let's go, let's do this, and like Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay teamed up and beat up Paraguay, and that really helped out with Brazil's whole forging of a single national identity. By like, you could suddenly have all these heroes of like he's from your town and he fought for Brazil. Aren't you be proud to be part of Brazil too? And this is that whole aspect of things.
Our football team is better than your football team. Don't you like football team of national place?
God
Do you
bless.
like not your national football team of this place? You should support the national football team.
Yeah. And so that's one way to approach all this. Of course, the other ways are like, all right, cool. We're going to make the Amazon not be on fire anymore.
I wonder what's on fire, Mike.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
It's fine. Honest. Honest. It's not our fault.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking because I'm
Companies.
bouncing off into other things. We can't make a company at the moment, but we do have potential to make companies.
While you're going over companies,
Ooh.
I'll be right back.
Okay. I shall see Mike soon. Mike is disappearing off into a different realm. Mike is locked in. Mike is no longer locked in. So, companies. Companies are something we've added into the game to add a bit more economic specialization alongside local prices and MAPI, as the community has so delightfully named it, which every time I see it, I still have to try and remember what it means. But I believe it is market access price increase off the top of my head. And so, companies, when you have a relevant technology, you can form a company, which gives you certain bonuses upon actually being able to fulfill the requirements. So obviously, we can't fulfill the requirements at the moment because we don't have the ability to make them. But when we do, we could do certain things such as, oh, hey, I want to make this certain company such as, I don't know, the petroleum company, which is with oil. But obviously, we don't have oil yet, so we can't do that. But there's always much more interesting, like little ones you can do that are more, how do I say it, generic sounding.
You can get a
Some places,
railroad
it's like,
company?
hey, look, here's a grain company. So if you have the relevant things, you can then be able to do that. Let me see. What else?
I know
interesting?
this was largely Hansi's work. He definitely worked hard on trying to
so
cover
much.
so many different potential historical
Yeah.
companies through it all. We ultimately, there still had to be some generic stuff, just because there's so many countries out there to make content for this.
Mhm.
But I'm really happy with
And the
how
art
much
team
Hansi
did absolutely gorgeous work on everything. As
Oh,
always,
my
the
goodness.
art team is just, I adore.
I love
some of the
working
stuff.
with this team.
I love that bottle so much. It's so good. It just looks really pretty.
Mm.
I think my favorite one though might be the paper one that you see sometimes. Ah, there we go. Just a guy with loads of papers having a little
Vibing.
read.
He's got a paper.
Yeah. This is much more like unspecific thing because 1.5 adds loads and loads and loads of bits and pieces everywhere. Honestly, because we've got all the military stuff that's all free in 1.5, all of the culture set up for Brazil itself, all the different changes in how the country's actual setup is. Say, like for instance, here you can see you've got North Peru, South Peru, etc. That's all part of it. All the economic stuff, so buildings, local prices, local goods like electricity, which no longer is beamed around the world via Jules Verne technology.
Via the wonders of Nikola Tesla and Jules Verne working together, we shall beam electricity straight into your homes on the far side of the globe.
Yes.
And that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to think of other interesting bits and pieces we have. Oh, yeah, politics already showed off. Lots of changes there. There's some interest groups which also have unique traits now. I can't remember if there's one for Brazil. I think there may be, but I can't
They
remember.
asked me to.
You should know this then.
Yeah. So we
there you go. There you go.
So it's these different traits from from the different opinion levels that these interest groups have. They will now give slightly different bonuses depending on what country they are. Not every country has unique stuff, but like Brazil, for example, has different things. For example, the rural folk here, that encourages a bit of different settlement patterns. What else do we have? Yes, the landowners have latifundios, which, God, I love that word. That's like
That's a really nice word.
well, it's a classic word, like the Romans had latifundium, something like that. So, like, wonderful seeing this Romance language stuff going on. Anyways, so landowners, for example, have bonuses to both agriculture and then plantation stuff on top of that as well. So it's doubly encouraging you, if you're doubling down on landowners, really just focus on your sugar, your coffee, all these plantation export-oriented industries. So there's all these different little things that can feed back on each other.
Yeah, there's a few spread out all across the world, I believe, which is nice. Trying to think of anything else nice politics-wise we've done. There's like loads of little bits and pieces that kind of change, like balancing just generally across different places. Buildings being balanced, buildings being split out.
Vineyards.
One of the ones we've shown off was military shipyards itself. Vineyards, of course.
Does Brazil have vineyards?
Not that I remember off the top of my head.
Brazilian watchers. Does Brazil have vineyards? I wasn't the one doing this task, all right? I can't remember where everything's distributed.
I think otherwise.
Argentina does, definitely.
Yeah. Well, diplomacy had a few changes as well, because now you can do things like reverse swaying, state trading. You did all the stuff with Africa, I believe, with state trading linked in a way.
Yes, Martin did even broader mechanics for that than I was doing.
Yes.
But yeah, the whole scramble for Africa should hopefully ultimately result in prettier borders now, which I know is the ultimate goal of any Vicky player and probably any Paradox player.
No. I create horrendous amalgamations of different countries mixed in between.
Ladies and gentlemen, history's greatest monster.
Yeah, I once created Sokoto and deliberately went to make it like a dividing line between different parts of Africa.
I work with Pelly. Anyways, Intelligentsia want us to pass laws which we probably won't be able to pull off and no one else will like. So that's cool. Thank you, Intelligentsia.
Thanks, Intelligentsia. We needed that.
Thank you, Fiejo. Fiejo? I still, in the past hour, have not learned how to speak Portuguese.
I can't believe that.
I'm sorry. We've done so much, and now I'm desperately... Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Russia has decided to go to war with China. This is a bold move on everybody's part. Good luck.
Good luck to everyone involved.
Yeah, that's I don't know.
Oh, I saw someone just mention this. A little fix. From Merle area.
Yes.
Yeah, the icons. We changed the little icons because they look nicer.
Well, we got more bugs.
Which, honestly, I really don't like. I don't like that because it just makes me feel like I'm being itchy.
I grew up in Michigan. My house was built on top of a swamp. I think I'm immune to mosquitoes now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sometimes concerned, Mike.
What? It's fine. It's fine. Probably it's fine.
It's probably fine.
Cool.
I hope it's fine.
What else should we do?
Yeah, because we do have other things to push into. Like, obviously, if we weren't streaming, we'd be probably doing things like actually building up properly, and delving more into our other buildings and trying to do law changes. But
yeah, we're not
very good.
Yeah. Look, I make the game. The deep dark secret is that the people who make video games often aren't the people who are best at playing those games.
Yeah.
Because you're focusing on other parts. My job is research and all this database stuff most of the time. I play the game, but
no.
I'm not,
out of the two,
you guys will beat my butt.
I probably play the most, but I don't play in South America that often, and normally play New Granada. So that's my area I really like playing. Otherwise, it's all around the world, like Sokoto, Sikh Empire. Sikh Empire is really fun.
It is really fun to unify Bolivia, Peru.
I haven't tried
Bolivia.
that yet. I should try it.
Goodness. Yeah, no, because then you have the whole Andes, and you just cackle maniacally, and then you start just going everywhere else. It's fantastic.
Yeah, because you've got the unifications and formations as well.
Yeah.
You've got the was it Rio de la Plata?
No, but
the Andes as well.
Andes
yes,
and
yeah.
Brazil can get involved with that stuff too. We have actual stuff now for the border changes in the Andes between Brazil and Bolivia. All these little border changes and stuff now can actually happen. We have content for it now. Brazil can get more land slowly from Bolivia. People can go back and forth with all this stuff. Wah!
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, no, I really enjoy that part.
And Colombia too.
Yeah, Colombia.
Yep.
So there's some really nice little bits and pieces you can do around there. And then obviously you've got Argentina moving south. Chile
also going south.
Going south and becoming longer.
Long Chile.
Long Chile,
Yeah.
as we showed in our update video. I'm happy we've got that, though. It's not the longest Chile.
Sadly
yet.
not. Oh, I just remembered another fun thing. With the Brazilian nation stuff, this is just the smallest little touch. It really doesn't matter. But like there's gaucho clothing for like Sulistas. But once you integrate the Sulistas, then Brazilian people in general can start wearing more gaucho clothing. And it starts to spice up a little bit.
Actually, it reminds me about clothing. I believe in 1.5 we also changed things. So like when you finish like the Mei restoration in Japan.
Oh yeah.
You can then start seeing population appear wearing westernized clothes. However, this is also affected by certain traits, I believe, isn't it?
Yes, I did the scripting for that.
That's why
So
I very skillfully led it in.
thank you. Yeah, when China does China.
Japan.
What am I doing, brain? When Japan modernizes and engages with the Meiji Restoration, there's a bunch of different clothes that can be unlocked. I tried to go for some of the early Boshin War era uniforms for the military, so they switch over to a bit more of an American and French influence uniform there. There's more Western clothing that can be worn, sometimes mixed together still with kimonos and such like. If characters have a traditionalist ideology, they'll still switch back to older like shogunate era clothing. They'll do the partial head shaving. I'm blanking on the name of that hairstyle off the top of my head, but I think you folks know which one I'm talking about. It bounces back and forth, and it's got these neat little triggers for ideology where traditionalism has a massive impact. Sometimes generals will still try to be a bit more old-fashioned about things. It goes back and forth.
I think we've done something kind of similar to Turkey.
Yes, I think I made it so Turkey just starts off that way. I don't think I tied that in with the Tanzimat stuff. Turkey is a bit more westernized now. Yeah. So like the Sultan is just dressed up. This Sultan was already dressing up like that from game start. Because historically he was. There's no reason for him not to be like this. Yeah. Oh, a lot of fun with little bits of art, tying all of that in, finding new ways to make every place just jump a bit more with different things to do.
Yeah. And like I believe we've got some cool stuff around like formation for Romania as well.
Oh yeah, no, I did the Romania stuff too. Again,
cool
very, very, very well done.
Yeah.
Professional here. Romania unification stuff that can happen while still being subject to the Ottoman Empire. You can have Wallachia, Moldavia unified together to the United Principalities. If somehow Transylvania shows up, Transylvania could join the United Principalities. Try to dance around some of the Crimean War peace stuff a bit. So Romania can get a land cession that it historically got at the end of the Crimean War, but instead of that, it's more you just team up with another great power, turn to Russia and go, hey, sure would be a shame if something happened to you because you didn't give us a little bit of land down in South Bessarabia. So yeah, you have some options there for different sort of land.
And then obviously we changed a lot of like the actual setup down there. I remember walking over to your desk and you just pretty much just were adding zeros onto amount of people there.
Yeah, there was different population figures I had to work with. Also, it turns out Romania had silk,
Yeah.
which is wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
look this up. Wallachia in particular had a very decent silk industry going on. Not major, but it was there. You know, cool,
Yeah.
good on them.
And it was specifically because there was this one very well researched open beta feedback post, which was just brilliant to look through. We could just look through it. It's like, oh, wait, this exists. We now know where to look and what sources to look at. And wait, wow.
I think that poster had citations right in the post,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. I love those posts. Like, I'm still very happy with the whole Tokugawa shogunate one from pre-release.
Yes.
Somebody contacted like the Japanese Vexillological Society and had a whole. It was a research paper. It was a research paper. You could have given that paper to a professor, and the professor would have given 100% on it. It was amazing, and the upshot of it was horizontal tricolor.
Yeah.
It was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think some other cool things. Like obviously, like as I was talking about, like formations. You've got like various ones around Europe itself, like HRE.
Well,
Europe.
yeah, okay.
Well,
We got the
HRE,
HRE, Central Europe. The Confederation of the Rhine is a fun one because I think that blocks off German unification if it's pulled off.
I don't remember. I haven't checked it.
Possibly. I know we did some weird stuff with the triggers on the back side of it.
We can check.
My brain. Yeah.
There's lots of other things as well there.
Turtle Island.
Turtle Island, yeah. That one's really cool.
That one's a fun one. That's if you are an independent, indigenous nation that's not decentralized in North America, and you get to nationalism, you can proclaim yourself to be Turtle Island. It's a whole inversion of the whole unifier thing. So, like, instead of conquering or taking over all the land that you need to declare the unifier, and then being, I am the unifier, you say, I am the unifier, and you'll get a journal entry that allows you to approach neighbors. And with the Turtle Island stuff, you can actually centralize neighboring decentralized nations. And then in a separate option, befriend them. And if you've got enough bureaucracy and everything going on, annex a friendly neighboring non-decentralized indigenous nation and gradually expand yourself by helping out your fellow indigenous neighbors. At the same time, you add their primary culture as your own, so your own homelands expand every time you do this annexation. It's
really fun.
I really want to see how people.
but
Yeah, I know. I want to see what people do
definitely.
with it.
If you do that, please actually contact me on that. I'd really like to see what people do with that because that's a really interesting playthrough by people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think though that we are probably coming to the end of our stream.
Yeah.
We may have gone over slightly. We're very sorry.
Very sorry.
Very sorry.
Are we? Are we actually?
Probably not. No.
Nah.
I also saw one final question: unification of Benelux. That does exist in some way.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly how it works, but it does exist.
The name Benelux is post-war.
Yes.
So we ended up, frustratingly,
if-
we have the Kingdom of the Netherlands, which Netherlands is also a general term. We had to come up with something for it.
Yeah.
I think we called it United Netherlands or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes. Otherwise, I believe that is the end for us at the moment, at least. I hope everyone has enjoyed. 1.5 and Colossus South are out right now. And if you're on beta, please change off the beta to default branch. That will actually put you on it. If you can't see it on Steam, restart Steam and it will start for you. So I hope you all have a very, very nice rest of your day. And we'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.